Motherhood is the biggest sisterhood of them all. Before we became mothers, we were individuals with hopes, dreams, and aspirations. But sometimes, as mothers, we lose sight of ourselves through the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Hi, I'm your host, Dawn Imani. Just a friendly mother that wants to chat about raising kids, chasing dreams, and highlighting the many inspirational stories of the mothers that do it. Just like that. So pull up, grab yourself a motherly beverage, and get ready to ride this roller coaster we call life. Condensed into a show. Welcome to MYLF Podcast, and it's time to meet today's mother you'd like to friend.
I ain't ready for it.
See, I can do that. See, I can. She not doing it. See, I can go down.
She's
like
feeling
that.
her jawing up
See,
more though.
No, I can do that. See, all right. See, maybe if I just copy what she's doing, then I could get her ass like that.
Shelly ain't never had a fat ass.
Well, first of all, you're amazing. And MYLF Podcast is about highlighting amazing mothers. And you are by far one of the most amazing women I know, because I knew you before you were a mother. I was trying to think how long I've known you, and I think it's been about maybe 9 or 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been quite some time. And even before you had your family and everything, like you've been a hustler. You've been on the scene. You've been working hard, and it never stopped. It never stopped, even after you had your beautiful daughter. So, I just want to commend you, because it's just so inspiring to watch you and see you grow and see your journey. This show is kind of about like when mommy gets sick. And I know that you have MS. There's a lot of women out there that are battling different diseases and ailments. I was sick all weekend, but nobody cared. I took some Tylenol and I got up and I was on the floor scrubbing and making breakfast and getting the kids together. So
always do that.
I do. I always do that.
That's what we do.
That's what moms do. We just keep going. And everybody's like, well, you were sick? When were you sick this weekend? The whole weekend.
The whole one. The whole weekend. How about that? The whole entire weekend.
So I would like you to introduce yourself, give the audience some tidbits of some of the things that you do. Who is Roni Graham?
Well, one, I'm a mom. That's what I'm most proud of, is being a mom. Secondly, I am a children's behavioral specialist, and I do work with adults. I've worked with adults for the past 2 years, but with children for the past 18 years, going on 19. And I'm an actress. I have, that's been my career since getting out of college in 2000. So that's who I am. I do have multiple sclerosis, which is MS, and I do have polycystic kidney disease. So my MS, I was diagnosed with both right before I turned 30, which was 11 years ago. So the polycystic kidney disease was hereditary. I got it from my biological mother, and my daughter has it as well, because it's a 50% chance that you can pass it along to your children. So I had them look at her when she was in my stomach, and when I was getting ultrasounds, and they saw that the cysts were forming on her kidneys. But kidney functions don't start declining until you're an adult. So she'll be fine through her childhood. It's just when she becomes an adult, we'll have to really start monitoring her. But even though we monitor her now, she goes, to the doctors, and she has her own kidney doctor and so forth.
That is an interesting perspective, because, I was coming into this conversation with the mindset of, okay, mommy is going through something, and mommy may potentially have moments of sickness, but raising a child with a potential ailment, that's something that is a little scary.
It definitely is. I'm blessed to know the information. I can monitor her from birth versus me monitoring it from 29. Now that I know it's so early, I can condition her on how to eat, what she puts in her body to prolong her maybe need for a kidney transplant or, dialysis. And it could be further than me. She'll be better off than me. So I'm kind of happy that I at least know it so early so that she will be okay. It's a blessing. You have to, go with the good and the bad, thing that I know so early. The only thing I was scared of was when I got COVID and she was with me and I had to take care of her while I had COVID, because like how your daughter is up under you right now, that is how she was the whole entire time. And so when I found out I was sick, I did not want to risk giving her to another family member and getting them sick, because she was definitely asymptomatic. I had a normal 4-year-old at the time to take care of while felt like I was dying. And I had to take care of her 14 days being sick by myself. It was a lie.
That is a lot. That is a lot. And, I don't know, like a lot of us, we don't know if we actually experience COVID, but from what I hear, it's like really, when you get those symptoms, it's really some rough business there. How did you manage? I know you mentioned eating healthy. I remember you had put up a video about all of the immune boosting items. Now, is that something that you do on the regular, or was that something that you just picked up when you found out you had COVID?
Well, I started a little bit before I got COVID. Like I started a little bit, like I was taking more vitamin C. Me and my daughter, we always take emergency every day just because she's in daycare. I don't want her to get the flu. So we always get the flu vaccine, and she drinks a pack and I drink a pack every day. So that was something we already did. But as far as the ginger and the turmeric and the elderberry and all that stuff, that was something I picked up right when I was sick, when I found out. And I still do it today. Like I literally take about 10 different supplements a day just to make sure that my immune system can fight whatever is out here. So because of my MS and the medication that I take for my MS weakens my immune system, I have to make sure. And that's why I knew it was like, I'm going to get it. Like I knew I was going to get it, and I got it. But it was very hard. It was hard because, the stress of, because I got it very early. I got it at the end of March. So it was before, we don't know a lot about it, but we know more than what we knew in the beginning. Back then it was, you get sick and then you die. They weren't showing the cases like me, like you get sick and then you get better. That's why I did the video, because I wanted people to be less stressed than I was, because I knew one friend who he was on his like 10th or 11th day when I was on technically my 4th, 5th. And so for me, I had symptoms the first day, and then I took Dayquil, and the next day I felt fine. So I was like, oh, I don't have COVID, because Dayquil doesn't take away COVID, so I can't have COVID. And then day 3, my technical day 3, my nose started bleeding, and I was like, what? I'm not a nose bleeder. So I emailed my doctors, and my day 4, I was feeling fine, but they called me in to come into the office, and they were like, yeah, you got it, go get tested. And then I got tested, and literally day 6 through 11 was pure hell. Like pure hell. And it was, taking care of her and watching her like a hawk, because I'm like, if she coughs, I'm like, is she sick? I can't handle her being sick. I wouldn't be able to handle her. We got through it, but it was very, very hard.
What you were talking about, how you were taking the supplements, and now that you are not sick anymore, you are still taking the supplements because the medication that you take for your multiple sclerosis already weakened your immune system. So that made you someone that was susceptible to getting COVID anyway. Now you have your juices. They're juices or your smoothies?
Well, smoothies. One good thing from COVID was that I lost 10 pounds, and I didn't want to regain those 10 pounds back, because as we know, it's hard to lose 1 pound. So when you lose 10, you're like, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back, please. And that was still in the midst of the shutdown, So I was, okay, what can I do to not gain this weight back? So then I just tried to cut off the big 4 of the carbs, which is pasta, rice, bread, and potatoes. I lost another like 6 pounds. So I lost 16 altogether. And then I was working out, at home using different apps. Yeah, pretty much. So when I was putting that on Instagram and, putting on social media, just because I do have a lot of people that follow me that have multiple sclerosis, and unfortunately, they are worse off than I am. They either just found out and they're in flare-ups and they have pain. They're unable to work out. So what I try to do is just motivate them, like, look, this is what I'm doing. You can look like this. Maybe once you get a medication regimen that actually works for you, then maybe you can start to do this. I always try to do that. So by doing that, a friend of mine had created these smoothies because he had high blood pressure. He found out by going to the hospital, he broke his leg. He had high blood pressure. He didn't want to take medication for it. So he got with a nutritionist. That nutritionist pretty much showed him how to eat, what to put in his smoothies to make his blood pressure lower naturally. So he got with me and was like, Roni, you're doing this. You have a lot of followers. I would like to get the word out. So I offered to help because health is important. That's when I hooked up with my friend Ted, and he does the detox, and it cleans you out, but not where you got to go have a bathroom nearby, but it makes you nice and regular. And in turn, you lose, a couple pounds. So it's, people have been doing really well on it.
I like what you said about when you're doing your workouts and you're promoting your healthy eating and the smoothies and the detox, that it is inspiring a lot of the people that have MS that follow you. I don't have MS, but it inspires me too. I think universally nutrition and working out and having a healthy lifestyle is something that we all need, and we all need to advocate for that, because that's the first medicine right there. We can take all the medications in the world, but that's not going to really help sustain us. And do you feel as though since you've been on this regimen, this particular regimen, do you feel any differently? I know you look different because you look great. When I watch you on your workout videos, you look great, but do you feel any different?
I definitely do. I mean, just all the way around, I'm as healthy as I've ever been. And I mean, even at 20 or 19, I never had this much muscle on me. I've never cared about what I put in my body. Of course, I'm human. I love everything bad. So I am not like anybody else. Like, I love French fries. I love potato chips. I love candy. I love cookies. I love all of that. I'm not saying that I don't have a slice of pizza, or I don't have French fries, or I haven't had McDonald's during this changing the way I eat, but it's all in moderation. And I make sure, okay, if I had that McDonald's, there's no fast food for the next 4 or 5 days. And I try to make sure it's maybe a fish fillet, not a cheeseburger. I still make sure it's the best out of the bad choices, I guess.
I love hearing about your regimen and how everything is making you feel better and you're in the best shape of your life. But the one thing that I was thinking about when you were explaining this was that your daughter is watching you. Not only are we watching you, but your daughter is seeing this. Hold on. And Luna is spinning this diamond. You want to show everybody your diamond?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see.
But your daughter is watching you, and the one thing that I love about what you do is you've always been very glamorous, especially in your acting, but you've incorporated your daughter in it, with your photo shoots, even her birthday party. It was very much, so much personality, and you're allowing her to explore that and be comfortable with that. It's just amazing. Do you feel as though she is following kind of in your footsteps?
Yeah, she is definitely the mini me. But she's my ex-husband, her father. He is very, very silly. And then you have me. And so my baby has no chance of being normal, like, at all. Like, what I try to do is I remember being younger and like my dad is very outspoken, could care less what anybody thinks when he talks. My mom is sarcastic. She's a sarcastic funny. But I had a lot of personality when I was younger. Children, we all say children can be mean. I pretty much, with all this personality I had, these are just comments I heard over my childhood, from peers is, oh, you're so extra, or you're too friendly, or the slang word Joe, you're too this and you're too that. And no one was there to, my mom, of course, always said, they always pumped high self-esteem. They always told me I was beautiful and, all that stuff. But what they didn't say was that how you are is okay. And what I do with her is I will never let anybody dim her light, because at the end of the day, being outgoing is hard, especially in acting. And acting, once you get over that hump of not caring, it sounds so easy, it sounds so easy, like just don't care. That is an extremely hard thing to do. And so many people can't do that. They can't not care. And so with her, I always let her know how she is. Her personality is okay. Of course, I, try to teach her personal boundaries, because she's a hugger. She see people, she want to hug people and all. But I want her to know, you being extra, everybody can't do that. That's a gift that you have, and you could be extra, and it's okay to be extra, because you can make a living off of being extra. That's why I am, who I am around her, and I almost welcome it, because a lot of people can't do what you naturally can do. And I will always let her do whatever she wants. She want to be an astronaut. Go ahead. I'm going to sew you an astronaut suit. I don't care what you want to be. I just want her to always accept her for herself. Because when people see anything different or something that they can't do, sometimes they attack it. And then you start to second guess yourself or change yourself to fit their norm. When who says their norm is right?
Yes, that is, knowledge bomb. Okay. Yes, that is so important. Oh my gosh, like people don't understand. I think when you're growing up, all you see are your peers around you. It's hard to not take that to heart. And I think it's important when you have a loving family that they are pouring into you and encouraging you to be who you are. Who you are. You could be a flamboyant person, or you could be a very quiet person. But the essence of who you are is so important. And at a young age, it's so important that we are taught to look into ourselves and really fine tune what it is that we are. And I applaud you, and I thank you so much for doing that for your daughter and being not only a positive role model for her, but encouraging her. Yes, honey bunny. Yes, spin. Like I encourage Luna to spin diamonds on my hardwood floor. Yay. But you are encouraging your daughter to be the best person that she can be, despite any ridicule. I have 7 kids, so they all have very different personalities. And, like my oldest son, he was always kind of like shy and nervous, and he thought he had to be a certain way. And, I just tried to keep encouraging him whenever, I would talk to him about something like that. Just be who you are. Like, you don't have to be the coolest kid on the block or seemingly cool. Like, the secret is none of us know what we're doing. We are all going through life, learning as we go along. And what works for us is what we should be. Yes, honey bunny. Thank you, Liam. Oh, man. All right. All right. Stop, guys. Oh, Lord. I need a minute.
It's okay.
But, we tried to encourage him, just be you, like be the person that you want to be. Like there's no right person who is going to be successful, or who's the right person to be, and whatever success is in your mind, that's success. So if you want to be a garbage man, be a garbage man. If you want to be a computer programmer, be a computer programmer. You don't have to be a famous singer or a basketball player or the normal things that we're told to that is cool and you have to do in order to be successful. There are plenty of business owners that have their niche is mundane and we don't talk about, and they're making millions of dollars. So you'll be fine, but just find whatever it is that you want to do and you be the best at it. I know my mom always would quote Martin Luther King, if you're going to be a street sweeper, you be the best street sweeper that you can be. You know, so now he's like, he got into skateboarding and he's got his little clique and he travels around the city with his skateboarding, and he's even teaching his little brother and sister how to skateboard. And it's amazing to see his growth and his confidence in himself. So it's great to see that he has come into his own. And even if it's not like the thing that everybody is doing that's cool, he enjoys it. And when you enjoy what you're doing, you're going to be passionate about it. And people see that. I think that shines through. And I think we're going to go back to you with your acting, because you are a magnificent actor. And that's the world that I met you in acting. And you have always been a star in my eyes. And I want to put it there. I'm glad that you came on my show before, you left for Hollywood.
Oh, no.
I can say,
Ray might get there before me.
But, I think when you love something and you're passionate about it, it shines through. When you're on this journey to being whoever it is that you become, the right things will happen. That preparation that you put into your craft is going to really shine when you're met with those opportunities. And people are going to see that love that you're pouring into it, and they're going to be attracted to that. And I think with your acting and with just being who you are, like people naturally gravitate to you. You've got a pretty good social media presence, and you travel and you do so many things, and people are in awe and inspired by you. I would love for you to tell us about some of your acting. I know you were doing your Bae versus Bae, which is a hilarious series of shorts about a couple and the things that couples do.
Go through.
Yes. I'm always laughing in the bed, and my husband's like, "What are you laughing at?" I'm like, "Shh, be quiet."
Yes. So with the Bae versus Bae, me and Kyrie Terrell, longtime friend, he came to me because he wanted to get back into acting. He came up with this concept of going through going through the different relationship topics and what people in relationships go through, but of course making it funny, because it is. What I've learned through training with comedy is the more real you are, because more people can relate. And they're like, oh my God, it's not just me. And that's been my whole entire, life. And that's why I'm such an open book, because I know I'm not the first person to go through what I've been through. I am not the first. So that's kind of why too, I don't get embarrassed a lot. I know I ain't the first. People don't talk about it, but I know I'm not the first. I feel like if I talk about it, it will help people deal with what they have went through, something that they were embarrassed about. And maybe I can help them not be embarrassed about it. That's why, so I was just like all for it. Like, yes, come on, like, let's talk, let's do whatever. So we take turns writing the different, skits and so forth. We're now about to turn it into like a web series, like maybe do like 20 minutes. And we're going to add 2 other couples, us still being the core couple, but adding other perspective so that we can, make it longer, go in depth about each topic. So yeah, that's in the works. But as far as my acting with the pandemic, everything has been put on hold. I've done some virtual readings, and I did a outside drive-in play. That was a new experience. That was fun. But my one-woman show is something that I'm really, really proud of, because the fact that it's helped a lot of people. People always say, well, oh my God, like, how are you able to talk about or even joke about such serious topic? And again, I say, everything I talk about, I've dealt with. I'm not going to share it. And that's what I think some people make a mistake, is that they share before they personally deal with what they have went through. And you can't share if you haven't dealt with it, because if you haven't dealt with it, whatever somebody says about what you've been through, you can become defensive. You can become emotional. You can become, all these things instead of helping somebody with your story. So you got to deal with it first. And then once you deal with it and you've processed it and you're okay with it, then you can help somebody be okay if they went through the same thing you went through. It's all about self-care first. It's not being selfish, but you have to take care of yourself before you could take care of anybody else. That's why I'm able to share, because I deal with it. And then it's like, okay, this is what I did to deal with it, that I'm okay with it. Now I can help somebody, and I can only tell them what would help me. Like, this is what helped me. Hopefully I can help you. So that's why I always feel that if I can help somebody and tell them my story, I cannot not tell my story.
Wow. I love that. I love that transparency, that approach to I feel like what you're saying is in every aspect of your life, your professional career, and in your acting, and even in your social media presence, like, you're very transparent in who you are. And I think that is what makes people gravitate to you, because you've gone through the things that all of us have gone through. And, you were able to process it and go through that journey and come out on the other side and show us that there is another way. There is a better way of life if you just continue through and make it through. That is so powerful. That is so powerful. And it's so brave of you, because like you said, everybody can't do that. Everybody can't be as open. It's scary. It leaves you vulnerable. Obviously it could open you up for criticism or anything like that, but that's the point. As a strong-minded individual, which I love that you're teaching your daughter this, it doesn't matter what anyone has to say, whether it's negative or positive. What you do is for you, because it's best for you. As long as it's not hurting somebody else,
Yep.
What you do and who you are is perfect.
Yep.
And there's no boundaries and no limits to how great you can be if you just accept yourself, because accepting yourself is most important. I think the right people will gravitate to you once you've learned to accept yourself. And I feel like when we don't accept ourselves, we can fall victim to so much. We can be swayed into negative situations. And then another thing is, when you're not your authentic self, that can lead to a bad mental health journey, because you're not able to do the things naturally that other people do. If you're trying to mimic what someone else is doing, and that is not who you are, it becomes a struggle. And then that
Yep.
can lead to depression and self-doubt and things like that. So it's important to not only be transparent with your audience as an actor or as a motivational speaker or as a health therapist, but transparent for yourself, accepting who you are on the inside, accepting and making it clear to yourself, okay, this thing here makes me feel good. This thing here doesn't make me feel good. What am I going to do to make myself better, make myself feel good about myself? And we have to accept the things that we cannot change. And we also have to learn that, okay, if we can't accept certain things about ourselves, how can we make that better?
Right. And that's the thing. Like, I also learned from being an actor and a therapist, I'm always observing and listening and, watching people. And a friend of mine, when she was pregnant, before she got pregnant, she was dating, and then she got pregnant, and she didn't know who the father was, because she was dating two people and she slept with two people and she didn't know. Of course, hearing that alone is like, ooh, that's gossip. That's tea. But she let both of them know, hey, I slept with you and I slept with you. I don't know who the father is, but between you two, it is. When the baby comes, we going to test, and this is what it's going to be. And because she handled it in that way, it wasn't gossip. It wasn't tea. It was, this is it. Okay. And I was like, people will treat you how you treat yourself. So if I'm not acting like this is a big deal, this is life, this is what it is, then other people will view it as this is what it is and it's okay. Because I did it. Like, I just was like, oh, okay. And that's when I was like, again, don't be embarrassed. Don't let something, we're human. We make mistakes. Don't let anyone judge you on a mistake that you have made, because guess what? That person may definitely has made mistakes. It may be different than yours, but they made mistakes. So they can't judge you. And if you judge yourself, then you allow other people to judge you. Don't judge yourself. You made a mistake. It happened. How you deal with it is what makes the difference. So
that is so true. We give what other people think so much power. The power is ours. Like you said, if you make a mistake, we all make mistakes. The mistake may be seemingly bigger or smaller, depending on who's looking at it. But at the end of the day, this is your life. How you treat yourself is an open door to how other people are going to treat you. So you better treat yourself with kindness and respect and forgiveness and grace.
Yep.
Your friend really showed how important it is to accept yourself, flaws and all. A lot of people, they go through life and they hide themselves and for fear of being exposed. But if you take back, like you said, you take back that power, that exposure isn't exposure. It's just, hey, she leveled up. She figured out who the child's father was, and she was able to go on with the rest of her life and not have to worry and hide that fact from her baby or hide that fact from the father or whomever. She made a decision, and she dealt with the consequence as a grown woman. Okay. and we forget that. We forget that sometimes. So I appreciate you sharing that. That was, that's powerful. I hope you guys are writing this stuff down, because Roni is like on it today. I love talking to Roni. Every time I'm like, she don't know, she be talking and I'll be like, yeah, girl, yeah. I'm like, I gotta remember that. Yes, it's so important, and I love that. I think what you're doing is amazing, and it is so inspirational, and it really shows that who you are, just accept who you are, and you can go far.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say that it's easy. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, life is, hunky-dory, and it takes a lot, and I'm still learning every single day, all of those lessons. It's you don't just learn the lesson, you have to keep practicing it every single day. You know better, you try to do better, but it's hard. It's hard to stand by what you say and your values. It's hard because the easy way out, it always looks easy. Sometimes, like what feels good is not always good for you, so we always want to go for what feels good. And I'm not excluded from that. So I never want people to hear me talk or, see the examples that I try to set and think that it's easy, because then that's when it starts to look fake. It's like, oh, so she don't have problems. Oh, she don't have, just like with the weight loss. Like, it's important for me, as much as I eat healthy, it's important for me to say the days I do eat French fries, the days I do eat potato chips at 10 o'clock at night. It's important because then people can say, when she does fail, she's still able to succeed. She's still able to keep going. It's always important to do that, because that's when people understand, like, okay, the message is real, because there's no way doing good is that easy. It's not. That's why we have faith. That's why we pray, to whoever, whatever God, whether Allah, Buddha, whoever, that's why we have that faith, because that's where we pull from. That's the strength that we need. It's always important to highlight where you failed, so that you can fix that failure and maybe next time not do it. Even with my, with me being divorced, it's so important. I'm writing part 2. My first show was about from when I was born to when I graduated college. And so the next show is about my adult life. What did the adult Roni go through? All that stuff that she went through as a child, how did it affect the adult Roni? Men choices, how she deals with her friends. And did that affect her? It does. And what I've recently learned, it's important, even though the obvious thing, if a man cheats, okay, it went wrong because of that. You always got to find in yourself, what did I do? And it's not always, what did I do to that other person? It could have been, what did I do to myself to get myself in this situation? So like for me, with my divorce, is what I did was I found out with myself is that one of my flaws also can be good, but it is a flaw, is I know I'm the prize, but I tend to, with a man, look at me. Look how great of a woman I am. And if you see how great of a woman I am, you're going to want me. And you're going to stop all the bad things because look what you got. Like, look what you landed. And then by me being a therapist, since I know the antecedent to the behavior, like I know the cause of the behavior. So if you're cheating, I know you're not cheating because of me. It's because of X, Y, and Z. So then I accept it. But it's like, no, like you can't. If somebody doesn't want to change, they're not going to change until they're ready to change. And that's my issue. I stay too long. I'm too supportive. I'm too nurturing. Like too much of anything is bad. That was my role in my failed marriage, was that, maybe I shouldn't have got married, and so it's not all his fault. Yeah, the big things, the major things were his fault, but the writing was on the wall and Roni chose to ignore it. So.
And sometimes we do that to ourselves. We try to give so much leniency, especially in our relationships, to that other person, or we're like, oh, their potential. Oh, I want to build this person up because, like you said, I'm a great person. I'm the prize. So this person must, there must be something that maybe I'm missing that I'm not doing. Those are the thoughts that we sometimes get there. I'm not doing the right thing. Well, let me give it another chance. Oh, I will forgive him this time. And as you said, you're a therapist, so you know the thought process behind maybe why he's doing what he's doing. But we always forget to look within ourselves and say,
yep,
how did I get myself into this situation? And what you said was so on point. How you treat yourself is going to open that door to how other people treat you. So if you are, forgetting yourself, because I think that's what you're saying, you forgot yourself in that relationship, like not, you didn't forget yourself because you still kept yourself up and you were this prize, but what were you doing? You were vying for this guy because you were the prize, but you're also a person, you're a human being with feelings and emotions. And sometimes we are so caught up on trying to get that love that we forget, no, we need compassion. We need someone to care about us. When I fall down and I scrape my knee, I need somebody to be there with the peroxide and the Band-Aid too. I can't always be holding you up, or what do they say? They want a ride or die chick. Like, no, like, why I gotta ride with you? Why I gotta die for you? Like, why can't we live? Why can't we live for each other? Like, the great Lauryn Hill, you care for me, you're there for me, you whatever she says, you live for me.
Right.
But I cry for you and die, I die for you. But why don't you live for me? Why don't you do the things that you need to do to make me happy? Because when you're in a hard relationship like that, where there's that stress, it also hurts you physically. I've been in bad situations and in my relationships, and I feel like that stress can really affect you physically.
It can.
And when you're a parent, your children see that, and your children are learning from your behaviors, and you may like, okay, I'm gonna go have this argument with my husband behind closed doors, and the baby's not gonna know. Oh, but they know.
And that's the reason. Yep. And that was the reason why I made the decision to have, that was the major, Gray was my ultimate factor of my divorce, because, well, her and God, you know, that's the only people I cared about. I don't care about nobody else. And literally when I saw, I was not happy. I was not wanting to go home. You know, it was not wanting to be around this person, not wanting, or arguments, because I've learned myself, when I don't respect you anymore, my mouth is, I don't condone a man hitting a woman, but what comes out of my mouth might get me punched in my face. Like, so, but I know it's only when I don't respect you anymore. And so when that started to happen, I did not want to show my daughter that is the way to talk to a man. Because I don't care what a man does. You should not disrespect a man, because at the end of the day, we can't beat a man. I don't care how my mouth is and how bad and big and bad I think I am. I can't beat a man. So I don't want to teach her that this is the way to talk to a person that you so-called love, to your husband, to your, so at that point, I had to say, we can't live together, because I just want to show her two parents that love her, two supportive parents that care about her and that can get along. You know, I did not want to show her any other way. I didn't want her to have that trauma, that drama. I didn't want her to have none of that. So I made it a point where we can't do this. Like, it's not happening. It's not happening. And that was the major, you know, the major thing is that I want to teach her values. I want to teach her how to respect, you know, others, you know, and you just can't do that. You know, you can't. And so that was, you know, her was my decision factor on, all right, this got to end. If we come back, we come back. But right now, this ain't it. This is not it. So.
And that shows your strength. It really does, to make that decision, not only for yourself, but for your child, to see, to have that foresight that, listen, what we have going on right now is not healthy. And I don't want our child to experience that and then grow up thinking that this is okay. Because sometimes I feel like this is an ongoing theme in all of my shows, is that just because something is common, just because something is happening to us regularly, that doesn't, thank you. Woo.
Yes.
Yeah, shine bright. Just because something is happening to us on the regular doesn't make it okay. It's common, but it's not normal. And it shows your strength that you were able to recognize that. And that's what motherhood is about, making those hard decisions, you know, because I'm sure it wasn't easy. You know, you made a commitment in your marriage and you saw that it wasn't healthy, and that is important. And I really, truly, truly, truly applaud you for taking that step, and also just for showing your daughter that it's important to be herself and to love herself unconditionally, you know, because as parents, a lot of us, and I know I've experienced that, you know, they impress, and it's okay. It's fine. We want what's best for our children. So we want to encourage them to do the things that we think are going to be the best things for them. You know, we want them to be lawyers and doctors and astronauts and something that's going to make them money and a respectable career. But if that's not them, you know, all kids, everybody's not meant to go to college. Everybody's not meant to be a doctor or whatever. But you are encouraging your daughter to be herself and to love herself and to find herself and explore herself as an individual, not by what you've impressed upon her. But I'm sure she's watching all the amazing things that you're doing and being inspired by it. But she can take a piece of you and a piece of her father and whatever she is influenced by outside of that in her life, and she can mold herself. And I think that is true parenting 101, allowing your child to be who they are and love that. And
Yes.
I really, 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 truly appreciate that about you. And it seems like, I know you say you're not perfect, but it really seems like you have found what works for you, and it really makes a difference in how you live your life. If you could just give us a little takeaway, something that has helped you on your journey in your motherhood.
Well, I would say in motherhood, something that I live by, and just by, I guess, from working with children, being a child that, my biological mom didn't put me first. You know what I'm saying? Like my stepmom, she's my stepmom is my mom. Children don't ask to be here. You decided, you made that choice for that child to be here. So it's up to you. If you decide to take that role on being a parent, then be a parent. No man, nobody comes before your child. The welfare of your child, the mental health of your child. Like it's your job now to make sure that that child grows up to be as wonderful as you can make them, and to protect them. That is your job. And it is a selfless job. It's the most selfless job you can ever have, but it's also a blessing. So don't take that blessing for granted. Don't take this job lightly, because I see every day how adults are messing up this blank canvas. Like, children are blank canvas, and we are help shaping who they become. And even if the world, you can't control the world. So even if the world hurts your child, you can fix that hurt on how you handle how they've been hurt. You can help soften that blow and cushion that blow by you being supportive, by how you handle them with care. So even if your child gets bullied, even if you are super duper protective, and they know, out of everybody in the world, my mom got me, my dad has me, you'll be surprised how much that bullying doesn't affect them. You'd be surprised. So if I say anything to a new parent, is please look at it that way, and don't look at it as, oh, I'm just having a baby. No, don't do that.
It's cute. We're gonna have the baby shower. I got the little belly, but at the end of the day,
take the pictures.
Right? Yeah. Parenting is not easy, because not only are we, like you said, cultivating and developing a blank canvas, we are going through craziness in our lives, and we are human beings, and we are not perfect. But to that child, you are everything. You are that sense of comfort. If they go to school and they find out that outside world is ugly, at least they have a safe person, a safety net that they can come to and feel confident and feel loved. And thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Thank you for giving us that wisdom, and thank you for being a true example of what a MILF is. You are certainly a mother that we should all friend. So follow Roni Graham. Listen, she's out here and she is doing it all.
You've made it to the end of MYLF Podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to follow us on all social media. Special thanks to our beautiful and inspiring guest, the multi-talented Roni Graham, for sharing with us how she pours into her daughter's mind, body, and spirit by teaching her through example to love herself unconditionally. Tune in next week to meet our guest, international model, mom, and soon-to-be Dr. Alyssa O'Keefe Smith.